Hi, you guys. Welcome back to Thoughtful Conversations podcast. We're really excited that you tuned in today. We have a very special guest here, and I'm going to let him introduce yourself to the people.
Absolutely. Brandon Reed. I like to say from Walmart to Wall Street, from broke to Balenciaga, from Goodwill to Gucci. But I'm just a individual that's been blessed to be able to build an amazing business, going out there helping a lot of individuals what's needed today in today's community, financial education, and just feel like I'm doing, my job as a Christian and in ministry here on earth and what we do for the community with financial
Yeah.
education. So, Brandon Reed.
I love that. Listen, Brandon, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. One of the things that I loved about your platform is that you believe in instilling and empowering underserved communities, right? And when we're talking about wealth and bridging the wealth gap,
Right.
I think that sometimes a lot of Christians and a lot of people in the culture feel like, when you're bridging the wealth gap, it's a pyramid scheme. And then it feels like, oh, but it's a lack of education
Right.
sometimes, right? And
Right.
so how do you bridge that gap? And how do you capture the audience's attention to where they can grow, right? When they don't come from a background of money or different things like that.
Sure. And you said it, it's a lack of education. We don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
If I'm born in China, I can't expect, even though as a black man, if I happen to be born in China, I'm gonna speak Mandarin. I'm not gonna speak English. So we're a product of our environment, and in the environment we grow up in, we don't get financial education. We don't understand business. We don't understand wealth. Even though it's crazy because they talk about money and finance more than they talk about heaven in the Bible. But unfortunately, it's stripped away, whether it's from the environments that we're in, whether it's from how we grow up, the school systems. There's a great book called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, and it talks about how school systems cause people to drift. But the thing is, we just don't know things when it comes to money, success. And then even in cartoons, all the successful cartoons like Scrooge McDuck, they're all evil. So it gives us a persona that money is bad, success is bad. And I think that's so far from the truth. I think it's our duty to become financially set because that allows us to make a bigger blessing in other people's lives. Broke people, no matter how much they would love to, they can't bless other people financially.
That's it.
But wealthy people can.
That's it. You can't pour from an empty cup.
That's it.
And I go back to self-care. I go back to knowing your capacity, right? But I think a lot of times, sometimes, we've been taught, get a job, stay on that job until it work through that job, right? Get promoted in that job, right? And then retire, save, and then pass away, right? In all of that time, a lot of the Black and brown community isn't really taught to invest properly.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
They're downloading the Robinhood app, but they don't really know like where to start, right?
Yeah.
And so in that bridging, what's some advice that you could give maybe somebody that their mother, they grew up on Section 8, their father was incarcerated, but they've never seen wealth.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is stay curious. I think curiosity is everything because what it does, it forces you want to go learn. If you're curious about something, it intrigues you, you want to go study up on something. So be curious about investing. Be curious about all the different types of things that's going on in the community. So that way you can go out there and seek the knowledge because we already talked about it, how most people are uninformed, they're not educated. Go seek that education so you can start to understand things at a better level. So you can start to make some impacts, not only in yourself, but in those around you.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it starts. You got to have that curiosity to go out there and find the information. Don't just believe in what you hear from those around you. Don't just settle for your environment's education level, but expand outside of that. I tell people all the time, you hang around 9 broke people, you'll be the 10th.
That's
so the thing
it.
is, right, you go get around 9 successful people, you'll be the 10th. At the end of the day, we get to choose.
Yeah.
We just have to choose to want to grow and do better.
Yeah. They say your network defines your net worth.
That's it.
Right. And so in that, when we're talking about surrounding yourself with different people, people have they struggle with cutting people off, right? Or just seeing how to incorporate in different environments. And so what are some ways that the common people in the community can go find these different environments to plug themselves into?
Right. Well, I think social media is a start of it because that allows you to connect. And most successful people, we understand the value of our success is in our network. So
Mhm.
we're always looking to expand our network. So I put myself in environments. I pay $200 a month for a gym membership because I'm in an environment where other people pay that amount because they can afford that. So I'm around doctors, lawyers,
That's
business
it.
owners. I'm up at 5 in the morning playing basketball, and I look over across the court, and there's Des Bryant getting some shots up. Or you just see other successful business owners, and it allows you to network and connect with them. I play ball at 5:30 in the morning, not just for the workout, but it's because I'm
Mhm.
able to connect with other business-minded type people,
Mhm.
build relationships, and that's where it starts. But if you're not able to pay $200 for a gym membership, go to networking events.
That's
Go
it.
on social media and see where somebody's going to be. Maybe it's an event
Mhm.
that they're going to be at. I think events are everything. You can find events local in the neighborhood and just go connect with people. But the
Mhm.
problem is we're so stuck on social media and scrolling, we lose our ability to connect. We lose our ability to have
Mhm.
conversations.
That's
We
it.
lose our social skills.
Mm.
And I think that's one of the things that's really lacking in the next generation is the fact that we're so used to a device. I have 3 kids, always on the device. They're not learning how to go out there and say, "Hey, how you doing?" And
Mhm.
just have conversations with people. And I
Yeah.
hope that changes because if having social skills becomes a dying breed, it's really going to affect this economy.
It's no, it's true. Like, I think about the pandemic. I think
Right.
about,
Uh-huh.
times where, it wasn't necessary to see people,
Right.
and I think that it kinda crippled our society
Oh, yes.
because we're so used to emailing
Hmm.
and virtual Zoom meetings, and you don't really get to see or feel the same, type of networking nowadays that you did in the '80s and the
Right.
'90s. But I do think that with the digital divide, I think that it has opened up ways for people who maybe are shyer,
Hmm.
to go out and meet different networks of
Yeah.
people to be able to be exposed to that in different capacities.
And that was me. When I was in high school, I was always an introvert. So
Hmm.
if I had a crush on a girl, I'd never want to go and approach her. But back in the day, we had MySpace. So MySpace was
Come
my
on,
way to be, you know
MySpace.
what I'm saying? Shout
Listen,
out to Tom.
MySpace was it.
Right? Shout out to Tom. But that was my way to be able to approach a girl digitally
Mhm.
because it's not as intimidating.
Mm.
It's very intimidating to go up to somebody, but it's less intimidating to go and inbox somebody. Hey, I like what you're doing with your content. I love the chance to be able to pick your brain. Versus if
Mm.
I see somebody pull up in a Lamborghini, I may be a little intimidated to go approach them because in our mind we think they're busy because of how
Mhm.
society has set up successful people to look. They're
Mm.
rude, they're
Yeah,
arrogant, they think
yeah.
everybody's going to come off like a Donald Trump or something. So, the thing is, I think people have to realize that successful people are very open to helping. Yes, we may be busy, but we're open to having conversations. But social media could be a great way to kind of create that bridge to have access.
Mm. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Listen, I love this. I love this. I guess my last question to you is, um, what are some ways that the common Christian cannot villainize wealth?
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I think that, the Marvin Sapp thing, right? That just came out, right? Or he
Yeah,
said,
I never
close
would
the
have paid it.
doors,
Uh-huh.
close the doors, right? Everybody get $20,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Where, people have villainized
yeah.
having wealth
Greed.
as a Christian,
Yeah.
right? So how do we communicate that in a way that is okay?
Yeah, I think we have to understand money is just a tool.
Mm,
Money is not something you fall in love with, right? They say that your treasure is where your heart is. The thing
mm,
is, money is not something that we should worship. It's not an idol, right? But unfortunately, some people see it as that.
yeah.
Money is just a tool to allow you to have options or allow you to have a better quality of life. So once we understand what money is to us, I think we perceive it differently. So for
Mm,
me, it's not like I don't chase money.
that's it.
I was blessed to make my first 6 figures at 23 years old. At that age, I didn't understand it, so I was chasing the dollar. But then I realized it's what money can do for me. It allowed me to retire my wife at 22 years old. It
Wow.
allowed me to be able to provide a quality of life for my family, but also
Absolutely.
give back and
Mm,
bless others. And once we understand that money is a tool of goodness, I think that's when people kind of change their mindset. I always say true desire in the heart for all things good is
mm,
God's gift to us that is ours already.
mhm,
Key word for all things good, but it's already our gift. You have that desire to retire your parents. God's
mhm.
saying it's yours, but we do have to go and do the work to make that happen.
Absolutely.
But money is required to make that happen.
Mm.
I can't just say all because I have a great heart with no money. How am I going? Hey, bank, can you retire? Can you pay off my parents' mortgage? I love my parents. Can you pay off? No,
Yeah.
they need a check.
They gotta have a check.
So we have to be willing to go out there and do the work and build wealth.
Yeah.
So that way we have the ability to do the things that we enjoy, that we're passionate about, and that's purposeful for us. I always say, your job is what you're paid for. Your calling is what you're made for. And I
Ooh,
think that we're all called to do something bigger and better in this life.
that's good. Your job is what you're paid for. Your call is what you're made
That's
for.
it.
Okay. Listen, on that note, listen, we could drop the mic right here.
Drop it.
Okay.
Let's drop it.
Where can the people follow you?
Absolutely. So on all social media platforms, BrandonC.Reed on Instagram, Brandon C. Reed on Facebook, Brandon C. Reed everywhere. But working on some stuff, working on a podcast called Breaking Bread with my good buddy David Herrera. Shout out to you, David. And, working on a book down the line, Walmart to Wall Street. So it's going to be a lot of things coming about, but you'll be able to catch up on all those things on Instagram and other social media platforms. But BrandonC.Reed.
BrandonC.Reed. You guys heard it first. Thank you so much, Brandon, for just taking time out to talk with us today and just having thoughtful conversations. Awesome. Well, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys for tuning in to another Thoughtful Conversations podcast.